So do me a favor, brother. Tell me your name, man.
My name is Young Goo. I'm from the Join Down Project.
Let me ask you a question, Young Goo. 1992, man. How did you feel about that, man? They talking about, they got brothers like Dawu and Akila, man. They going over there talking to Snipes, talking to Big Hank, Bounty Hunter Hank, man. They talking about peace, man. How'd you feel about that back then?
For us coming up, we youngsters, we was out there active, but them the old heads. So we gotta follow suit. It's just protocol. That's one thing about where I'm from, like it's very family oriented. So, whatever they say, we gotta go with it, whether we don't like it or not. But when you start thinking as a black man and seeing how it was very beautiful, and I understood it. As the older I got, the more I appreciate it. Like right now, I wish we could go back to them ways, because there's too much stuff going on out here. Like this ain't right. And I just got out of prison from doing 15 years. So you know how it is up in there. We all from the same area. Even though we don't get along on the street, but we kick it with them in prison. Right. All the projects, the bunny hunter niggas and all that, we run our watch thing. You feel what I'm saying? But we out here beefing with each other.
I can't do it out here, because I know I done went to jail a few times, man. The first thing brothers doing on the tier is, what's up, what's up? And everybody responding with the what's up.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, but you from Imperial Courts and you from Grape Street. And they get out and eat together, spread together, and we on the yard and stuff, and it's the watch car.
Yes.
So how does that not happen when we hit the streets?
It's not happening. It's the youngsters. Like, they ain't listening. Drugs done plague our community worse. We got young dudes that's on the white man drugs, pills and oxycontins and all that stuff. They ain't right. Their mind ain't right. They ain't fully developed. They not thinking like a black man. So that right there is go always hinder us. But you got people like me. I still deal with people over there. Because we've been inside that place together. So it's an unbreakable bond. Because it's like you been in the trenches, you know how it is up in there. It's racial segregation. You know what I'm saying? So, we riding with the Mexicans and stuff like that. So we all together. And that's a brother bond, because you dig in the trenches. So when you get out, you run into these dudes that you was in there with. These your comrades now. This is a brotherhood now. Even though you from Nickerson's, you my partner though. You know what I'm saying? Because we been up in there riding. We been up in there shoulder to shoulder throwing them things. You from the Imperial Courts, we have been up in there shoulder to shoulder throwing them things with these people that's trying to kill us. So, it's like, for me, I'm happy to everything that I went through. I'm happy about this dude right here. Like, he didn't show me so much. Like, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be thinking how I was thinking. Because every prison that I went to, I learned how to diffuse situation as a man. And I was always put in positions to run the car, to run my car. I always had to say so. So it was just being up under leaderships like him. It taught me how to deal with people, how to size people up, how to get that energy. That energy, like they say, them facial expressions worth 1,000 words.
Oh yeah.
So I can pick up on your vibe easy if you worth dealing with or if you're not worth dealing with. Because everybody ain't gonna see the bigger picture, and some people we gonna have to leave behind because they ain't gonna get it. It's a cancer. If we let them destroy this cancer, if we let that cancer grow, it's going to destroy everything that we're building for. Because some people would just rather sink the whole ship, because if they can't have it their way. And it's
you know what? I've seen that, brother. I've seen that to where peace was going to be brought to certain situations and individuals, because they wasn't including that peace. They wasn't mad that peace was going to happen. They was mad that they wasn't included. And I hate to say it, brother, but it's always been in this area, the Watts area, when there's resources that come to the area, certain people get angry if they're not a part of that process. You know what? I'm going to come right back to you, Goo, because I actually know that you've had to deal with this, man. Yeah. So when there's peace coming to the community and certain people not a part of it, man, has that ever... like people throw change on the table and everybody from different projects and everybody with different organizations get to grabbing at it, man. How do we stop that?
Well, you know what I'm saying? And as a leader, and I always try to inform the other different influencers from the different neighborhoods is that, we have to think, for everyone. And when we going out there advocating for funding and resources to benefit our community, because, the root cause of what we go through is called socioeconomics, money and people problems, and there's never seemed to be enough when it comes to our community. And I can understand where people are coming from because we're in dire needs. And the concept of a street nigga is that when you didn't know how to read, when you didn't go to school to learn to read or write, you hung out in the streets and you learned how to steal and fight. So majority of our people that's in the streets is the people who don't know how to read and write. And they are in situations where they have to survive based upon whatever their skill set is. And sometimes that's influencing and still in the fighting. And so we have to always keep these people in mind. And my thing is that, for our influencers and leaders that's in position to advocate always for enough. Like when we created CSDI, we could have easily took CSDI and just serviced the Jordan Downs because we had the numbers, we had the people, but what we always did was open it up for other people to be involved. Like from the Nicholson Gardens, we had Nene there from Kush, and then Imperial Courts, we had Red Rooster and Snipe and them been working with us, and Sister and them, and then from the Hacienda, Twilight and JB. So we always try to make sure that everybody had a piece. And so when we advocating for this type of work and services, we got to do a real assessment on the value of what we're advocating for. So if we know that the brothers in the Imperial Courts and Nicholson Gardens and all that stuff, it's not getting these resources, but the connection that's coming through us, I still have to advocate for them too. Definitely. So so we can make sure that, like you said, we can prevent these crab in the barrel effects, because this goes way back to the '60s and stuff when between the Black Panther and the US organizations and counterintelligence, they utilize these things. Because you give them a carrot and you don't give them a carrot, eventually they're gonna be fighting over the carrot.
Yeah, if I'm sitting here and y'all in the projects, man, having a 4-course dinner, man, y'all got 4 pieces of chicken with 2 sides, and I'm sitting here, man, with a piece of bread. You know what I'm gonna say about the project, because y'all could slide me 1 piece of chicken out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead, brother.
Like I said, and that's just the whole messaging and mindset that we have to take in addressing this socioeconomic situation we're dealing with, because we have an uptick in crime and violence. People like, it's because, the enhancements, and it's because Gascon and Governor Newsom and all these different things that's really, you can't arrest yourself out of the situation.
Right.
When you see young brothers out here, who's coming out of this COVID thing, and they out here starving. Right. They don't have education, okay? They don't have opportunities. They don't have housing now. Right. And they don't have a job. How else do you supposed to survive as a human being? These are the things that was taught to us through the life management skills curriculum. Food, clothing, and shelter is essential for the involvement of a human being, their self-esteem, their reputation. Right. Animals, only thing that live in the wild is animals.
Yes, because it's all off of instinct.
Yeah, it's all off of instinct. So you treat people like animals and then expecting for them to behave as if they don't have needs on a day-to-day basis. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, we look at this uptick in crime and violence, and we don't look at it as gangs. We don't look at it as, all that. That's just a symptom of what society utilizes to justify more funding for law enforcement, more funding for reparation, more funding for prisons. Right. We want to defund that because there's a human side to this that you got to look at.
And look at this, man. When they get more funding for prisons, and then individuals go into prison, I'm going to use you as an example. You go into prison, and look what's happening. Now, you organize or help be that MAC rep or whatever, that leader, to keep Watts together. But let me tell you what's happening in Long Beach. They together, too. See, these dudes will fight and kill each other just as fast as we will, right? And when they get to prison, you know what they got? They got a Long Beach card. Same thing with the dudes in Pomona. I was actually on a tier one time, and I heard this dude come out and say, IE. All these dudes separated, but they came together like, what? IE, what we doing? They was ready. So they kill each other on the regular, but in the penitentiary, they like, what? What's the problem? IE. Right. So the thing is that they get more money for law enforcement, more money for prisons, and then we come to prison, we stop fighting each other. We start getting along and educating each other.
Let's look at this.
Man, so
how does that system continue to sustain itself? How can a person from prison, probation, and law enforcement work for 30 years and to retire, then live for the rest of his life? Here it is right here. It all plays back to policy. So policy is based upon us and making laws so that we can be able to sustain ourselves inside incarceration or some form of probation for the rest of our lives. And so when they are arguing about enhancements, gang enhancements, normally, crime is committed, there's a certain term you serve, but with enhancements, it gives you a longer term. So what that means that law enforcement and probation and prison officer unions are banking off you staying there longer, because the longer you stay, the more they retire off the money forever.
Right.
So that's why they're attacking Gascon about these policies and stuff like that, because now he's just saying, no, you're going to do a crime, you're going to do an X, Y, Z. Yeah. They like, no, because now you're taking from our pot of retirement money that we retire on for the rest of our lives. Right. And so we have to understand what this message is about, what's going on in our society, and understand that, it's not about what you see, because a lot of this stuff, like you said, is influenced by socioeconomics. You know what I'm saying? We have influencers too in our community. We call them rats and snitches, or informants. Right. They work for law enforcement. And so the influencers is the people who don't understand, like he said, a lot of our kids on RX drugs and all that stuff don't understand. They got this term through hip hop, chasing the bag and wearing Louis and all this other hip hop phony shit that don't have no value to it. And so what happened is you being influenced by a person that might be getting an envelope on the back end from law enforcement to get you out here to go jeopardize your freedom, just so he can say, see, I need more money, or we need longer sentences, because why? Our money is being jeopardized now because he want to take our insurance money away. You know what I'm saying? Our insurance money. It's like you said, it's always insurance policy. We're insurance policy as long as we're in prison for them to retire. You know what I'm saying? And it's a dirty shame. You know what I'm saying? It's a dirty shame.
Yes, sir.
The coldest thing that just happened right now, if y'all seen on the news, they coming out with this. They just voted the law in about the ghost guns.
Yes.
Oh yeah, make it federal case.
Yeah, making it a federal case for us.
Yeah.
Right.
But why y'all just didn't stop the company from making it?
Exactly.
That's how
so
simple it
that's
is.
the same thing that happened with the drugs, right?
Just ban this company from selling them.
Right.
But you go give us a mandatory federal sentence.
Yes.
For having
for possessing a gun.
A game plan is always a strategy. You know what I mean? It's always been having a fucking strategy the whole fucking time.
And here it is.
Yeah, man.
And here it is. The state of California was sued by the federal government, which created this whole criminal justice reform plan. They were sued because of overpopulation.
Exactly.
There's 50,000 people over the numbers of beds that they have for the prison institution. The federal government mandated them to release these people by any means necessary, or we're going to do it. And so here it is. We got 50,000.
Oh, wait, you one of them?
I just got out on it. My release date was September 2027. Gascon let me out. They gave me 26 years in enhancements.
Wow.
For an assault rifle that only carries 7 years.
So look, here's an example of what everybody's talking about. Everybody is afraid of Gascon saying he's going to let criminals out. So you're supposed to be gone for 2027, but do you see your purpose for being here on the streets today?
Yes.
To be that influence, the same influence you was in prison, to keep these dudes from killing each other?
Yes.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And everybody, you know what everybody's saying? Recall Gascon and put those animals, as you called it, put those instinctive animals back in their cages.
Yes.
So that was you, brother. They calling you an animal. Yes. And look how you articulate and help save. So in other words, brother, not to pat you on the back a couple of times, but I'm going to do it one more time. You are actually saving the lives of people that you don't even know.
Exactly.
Ain't that something?
Yes, exactly. And the same thing when my big brother just said,
you know what I mean?
they just the rats. You know, I played a victim to it. I got out. You know, I was just kind of a little leery, and I'm kind of like shaky, so I'm carrying my gun and stuff like that. And I know better than this, but I played into it where they didn't find the gun on me. They found it in the car. Somebody told them it's my shit that's in the car. Police passed by everybody, came straight to me. OG, cuff up. I'm like, what? You just walked past the dice game. Walked past everybody, just came straight for me. Cuffed me up. Looked for the key fob. Knew where the key fob was at. Hit the alarm. Went to the passenger seat. Where the gun was at. Searched it 20 minutes. Couldn't find the gun. Stepped out of the car. Went to the side. Got on his phone. Talked to whoever he was talking to. Went back to the passenger side. Damn. 3 minutes later, came out with the gun. Bingo, got him. OG, you going down. So for me to play, I played myself. I ain't mad at whoever told on me. I'm mad at myself for putting myself in the situation and knowing that God has blessed me to get this other chance at freedom.
Right.
So now it's a must that I do the right thing. It's a must that I voice my opinion. It's a must that I participate in anything that can save a black man's life. You know, it's the point now where we got to stop thinking like niggas. It's time to start thinking like a black man. You know, we gotta do something. Like I hate the homeless thing. Like that was one of my main things when I got out. I'm like, I gotta do something. I gotta do something about this. And I've been talking to Lowdown about it. I've been talking to Tim Nim with WLAC. I've been talking to him about it. Like I want to do something about this because I'm going to work. I see 2 kids get up out of a tent. 15 years old. We got to do something about this. This is a serious problem. It's kids living in tents. It's not just older people or crackhead junkies and stuff like that. It's kids staying in these tents.
Right.
Every race.
Yes, indeed.
That hurts your soul.
So it's critical for us as a community, as an intervention prevention community, to have a message of unification, because we are under attack again. Like you said, we're dealing with homelessness, socioeconomic situations, and they spiraling out of control because we don't have a unified message and a unified plan to address this. You know, we can't let agencies, like you say, when we hear all these reports about the criminals and all, this is coming from law enforcement and their media, you know, union people who's promoting this stuff through the media and scaring people, you know, the public to vote for these things that would sustain them. And we're not doing a good job with countering these things. It's a lot of great work that we've done. It's a lot of great work we've done with this whole process in the Truce over 30 years. We have organizations. There's a lot of positive, great stories out there. Look at myself. Look at you, Skip. Look at this brother. Look at Howard. We all was a part of that. You know what I'm saying? But the issue with us is right now, our community has not unified, have not created herself a force. You know what I'm saying? And I like what Karen Bass said. Karen Bass said if she was elected as mayor, she would create a department, not up under law enforcement, which represents suppression and up under public safety, but a department that house what we created as public safety and be able to, you know, lobby for those tax dollars. You know what I'm saying? That's every year that's being put together in the general fund and been handed out to all these different departments. We'll be getting these departments. If we get 3% of a public safety of a $1.8 trillion, that's over $300 million that will be allocated to all of our communities instead of the $30 million that they're giving. That's crumbs. You know what I'm saying? We need $300 million because we have 15 districts, you know what I'm saying, in the city of Los Angeles that needs help. You know, like you say, what happened is, you know, during the 60s, you had the Black Panther. Us get money from the Forest Foundations and all these organizations. The Black Panthers got to get theirs from organizing on the street corner. These clashed. You know what I'm saying? What's happening now? You have intervention prevention. You have certain organizations getting money. Some ain't. Fuck them. They work for the police.
Right.
And here it is. We're the saviors for you. But now you throwing rocks at something that's a voice for you. We have to lobby, you know what I'm saying, and get these departments so that we can be able to lobby for our own resources so we can be adequately funded, you know what I'm saying, so we can have impact. Because, you know, that's what it's about. They're gentrifying our community. Watts used to be 90% blacks 40 years ago. Watts is 75%, you know what I'm saying, undocumented residents here. You know what I'm saying? That's coming from foreign different countries. The original historical protected class citizens who migrated from Jim Crow South, my mother and them, who came here for opportunities, for voting rights and all these different things, their grandchildren are homeless and living in these tents right now today. Right. We was the first protected class citizen up under the 14th Amendment. We're not protected no more. No one's speaking for us. No one's telling us about the food, clothing, and shelter that we need. Everybody's advocating for everybody else except the original protected class citizen up under the civil rights era that took place and all the civil rights laws that's supposed to be protecting us as American citizens. And so we have to step up to the plate. We have to create an organized voice. We are the new front runners. We have Maxine. We have all our elders and stuff that's there, but they're in their 80s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're in our 50s. Right. You know what I'm saying? These brothers in their 40s. Wiles and them in their late 30s. These are the new influencers and leaders, but they don't have a platform to stand on. And we don't have a unified voice to address our needs. And so that's some of the things that we want to come out of this anniversary and this truce about. You know what I'm saying? We have to create a round table, you know what I'm saying, that consists of 100 people from different neighborhoods. Right. That's giving us influence and power. That's over 100,000 people in LA. And because LA is so influential right now, we have imploded These sets in neighborhoods all over the country, even in Africa and certain international countries. You know what I'm saying? Crip and blood is the word.
Yeah.
That's a big segment of our community that has a voice, but it's unorganized, and we need to organize it. We need to incorporate. We need to show these people that we need to elect leaders that represent the interests of what we repping for our people. So that's what we're getting to right now. You know what I'm saying? And so I definitely appreciate you because you've been on the front line for a long time. You know, we started off with Boyd, and you're involved, and all of us are involved. And it's time for us to really, unify our voices to really represent this class that's coming up out here, for they criminalize them and throw away the key, such as what this new mayor is talking about, tough on crime and all that stuff. There's no such thing as tough on crime when you don't identify a person as a human being. Let's get tough on poverty. You know what I'm saying? If we get tough on poverty, you won't have
education.
crime. You know what I'm saying? Tough on education. Because if you get tough on education and create benchmarks and standards, then our people will be educated. And these teachers and these people in these institutions will be punished because they're not educated. And while you're taking hundreds of millions of dollars and hundreds of millions of dollars from the taxpayers and you're not doing your jobs.
Yes, sir. Let me just share with you, brother, that if there was no you, there would be no me. So thank you for all that you've done, brother.
Appreciate it, Big Skip.
And thank you, brothers, also for allowing me to be in the community. This place here is beautiful, man. There are pyramids outside and all that. It's a lot of great history in Watts, man. Just know I'm the nephew of the Jordan Cafe. I just want y'all to know, yeah. So yes, indeed, man. Oscar Neal, all them. Those are my people. Yeah. So, all right. I appreciate y'all, man. All right.